In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to potentially turn $5,000 into $270,000 by investing and taking profits in Zora. All right. So in this video, I'm going to briefly cover what Zora is. And I say briefly because I made a full fundamental analysis video covering literally everything about the project. We even showed how the app works on screen. So definitely give that video a watch, and don't just buy it because this take profit strategy sounds great and you'll make a lot of money. Invest into what you understand first, okay? So before we get started, none of this is financial advice. This is my take profit strategy through my research and through my understanding, and just take it as a grain of salt and use it to help you come up with yours. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the content, starting off with what is Zora. Actually, first, guys, I got on my shirt, move fast and build things. That's what Zora's doing. It's an alchemy shirt. I got this from ETH Denver. You know, I don't club, so I get dressed when I go to make YouTube videos. So let's jump into the content. So first off, what is Zora? So guys, they call Zora the Web3 Instagram because you have you can make posts, but the cool thing is that it allows you to own your content, right? So I've talked about Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, read, write, which is Web 2, and then Web 3 is read, write, own, right? We're moving into what I call the ownership economy, the ownership age. And basically, as soon as you create a profile on Zora, you have to launch a token, right? And that token is basically tied to your profile. So this is the Know It Owls. Oh, we got a new follower since yesterday. Definitely give us a follow here. We put out some good content. But as soon as you launch your profile, you automatically launch a token, right? And I always talk about incentives. Incentives are aligned on this project because if you hit my wallet, you can see that it doesn't show here, it shows on mobile, but only 50% of the Know It Owls tokens are available to be traded. The rest are unlocked or vested to me over a 5-year time period. So if I want to get the rest of the 50%, I have to put out good content for 5 years so that my token, I'm incentivized to increase the value of my token by basically having good content out there. So that's really good versus just me being able to sell them all at once. And then the tokens that are available, I have to buy them, right? You do get tokens for posting and like the vesting, but I like how they have the incentives on here. And then each post you make is its own token as well. So you can see some people bought this one here. In order to comment, you have to buy. So the market cap for this one's 97 cents. Right? And someone bought a little bit of this one. And then also Zora is integrated into the Base app, which is Coinbase's blockchain. If we look here, you can see Coinbase is the top L2, right? These are all L1s, but they're the top L2 with $4.9 billion in TVL. And if we click on them, you can see that the TVL has just been consistently increasing since April, literally, right? Base confirmed that they're launching a token. I'm sure that that's going to play into Zora as well and help Zora as well since they're integrated and built on Base. This is my profile. You guys give me a follow. I'm going to start putting out more stuff here as well. But Zora also did get funding from not just Wand Ventures, but Coinbase Ventures as well. They're already listed on Coinbase, okay? So in the past bull markets, these social media type tokens have done pretty well. So I think Zora is like too big to fail. Brian Armstrong and all the Coinbase execs are always talking about them. And once celebrities start to come onto this platform and they get to launch their own tokens and take advantage of their influence and all of their fans, I think Zora is going to take off like a rocket. And I think we're still really, really early. But yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Watch the fundamental analysis video that I put out. Link is in the description. So now let's talk about the take profit strategy. But before we do, we need to talk briefly about the tokenomics, and I'll also dive into the tokenomics on the video, but I want to talk about it a little more here. So you can see that the fully diluted valuation is 633 million, while the market cap is only 209.8 million, right? So that means that you still have around 75%-ish of tokens that still have to come onto the market. So you want to know when they're coming onto the market so that you can know, if you should sell, if you should buy, like basically, what you should do. So if you come here, you can see all of the parties that got tokens and how much they got, right? So 20% went to community incentives, 10% went to an airdrop, 5% went to ecosystem liquidity, so like market making, and then 20% treasury, 18% team, 26% investors. The investors got the largest tranche. So investors are going to want to sell. The team is eventually going to want to sell. The treasury is going to want to sell to fund initiatives. Liquidity will most likely stay. The airdrop is from people they're going to sell. And community incentives, they're going to basically give out to people for doing certain things and they're going to sell. So everything about the liquidity is has risk of being sold. We just need to know when. So if you scroll down here, they have this chart on here, but this chart kind of makes it hard. So we're going to look here on tokenomics, right? So you can go down here and they give you this nice graph to see exactly when all of the tokens are being unlocked. All right, so if we look right here, you can see we're right here. No unlocks really, but the unlocks are going to start with the investors on October, right? And the investors are going to get, at current prices, $4.5 million unlocked. So 72.5 million tokens, while the treasury is going to get 2.6, team 3.2, right? And then you got more unlocks and they become larger and larger as the months go by. So what you want to do is like, okay, you can see 4 million right here for the investors, another 9 million for the investors in November, another 13 million, right? Another 18 million, and the treasury as well, and the team's getting tokens unlocked. Like right here, the team has 13. We go back, the team is getting unlocked 9.8. The team usually keeps on selling because people look at the team wallets, and if the team's selling, everyone else is going to sell, and it's just not going to be good for the project. But the investors, the venture capitalists, the people who have a fiduciary responsibility to generate returns for their limited partners, they're definitely going to be selling, right? Especially as we're going into what I think is going to be a bullish Q4 and Q1. So they're going to be taking profits aggressively. So up until around January, February, we have like almost 100 million in unlocked tokens that can be sold at current prices. And the higher it goes, the more people are going to want to take profits. Yeah, people are going to be greedy, but people are going to want to lock in profits because these investors invested into Zora years ago, right? So they've been sitting on these tokens for a while. And when they get the chance to unlock, you better believe they're going to sell some, right? So if we go here and we can see that the market cap is 209 million, let's say worst case scenario, 100 million gets sold by February, because that's, around how much that's going to be unlocked. If the market cap goes back down to 109 million, do I still think it can do really well? And the answer is absolutely yes, right? Celebrities start to come on, people start to use this, more people start to post. They did have a thing, we just recorded episode 5 of our Owl Eyes on Base show. We live stream it on Twitter, and the videos are, in the video section. Definitely feel free to give that a watch. I should say, the series. But the largest account was just deactivated, and they didn't make an announcement. And the people who were holding the token for that project, they got pretty wrecked. Obviously, it dropped pretty much 95% or more. So it's still some hiccups, right? So invest what you're willing to lose. And because of these tokenomics, I get that investors have to, get their money. I get that, but I'm a profit maxi, so I have to protect my own bags. So if the tokenomics were all unlocked, I would have this as a larger allocation in my portfolio. But because I'm competing against these investors, the team, the treasury, and all the other parties that are getting tokens unlocked, it is going to represent a smaller portion of my portfolio, but I am yield farming this token as well. All right, so that's the soup and salad. Let's jump into the meat and potatoes, and let's look at my take profit strategy and see when I plan on getting out. All right, here she is in all of her glory. Chris, if you're watching, I know, man. We'll get him on a spreadsheet. Chris is one of our coaches in Know-It-Alls, and just a really good liquidity farmer. If you join our free community, you guys will get to meet him. We're doing our 49 Weeks to Freedom Challenge led by him, where the goal is to help everyone reach $100,000 per our liquidity pool recommendations. Do a call every Monday, and we have an additional other 5 calls that we do throughout the week. Onboarding, farming with you, roundtable discussion where our coaches hop on and just chat. You get my buy and sell calls. Before I put them on the internet, I told my community about Zora weeks ago. And a lot of times it's going to be time sensitive, and we're doing a nice special right now. So if you're interested in that, click the link in the description. You got 3 options. Book a call with me to see if our program is a good fit for you. Join one of our DeFi webinars to get the full picture, or join our free community just to get the lay of the land. I digress here. So when I originally started to buy, the market cap was 203 million. Right now it's down a little bit to 209, but that's okay because I'm farming liquidity, so it's dropping my average buy-in because I'm accumulating fees at multiple different price points. So when you create your take profit plan, you want to have a conservative estimate and an aggressive estimate, and have your take profit strategy set up to where even if it doesn't hit the conservative, or even if it exceeds the aggressive, you're still able to make some profits, okay? Now, My conservative estimate is a $10 billion market cap. Again, Coinbase is pushing this. Brian Armstrong is pushing this. They have a war chest. They're a public company. They own Circle, which is a public company, part of Circle. And it's a really good narrative, okay? And we got the Clarity Act about to pass. And in the Clarity Act, there is a small fine print that says people and companies can launch their own tokens and raise $75 million just as long as they decentralize within a 4-year time period. So this is within that regulation. Is making this a favorable play as well. You're going to have so many people launching tokens during the Trump administration. I'm not sure what's going to happen after, but we got to pump the old bags in the meantime, between time, okay? So I got my aggressive estimate at 25 billion. Will it get that high this cycle? Highly likely, but I don't know. I think it'll definitely get to 10 billion at least, which is a huge multiple from here. Okay, so current holdings, 5K. My first take profit, I'm waiting until it does a 10x. That is going to bring the price from 7 cents to 70 cents, and it's going to bring the market cap from 233 million to $2,333,111,640. Okay, at that point, my 5K is going to be worth 50K. Take out my principal plus 100%. Now I'm in a risk-free trade. I have 10K in profits, and I hopped in with 5K. This isn't factoring in my liquidity pool earnings. I'm doing something a little different with them, where I'm holding for a huger multiple since it's a smaller amount and I accumulated it for free. Second take profit is going to be when it does a 4x, okay? So that's going to bring the price from 70 cents to $2.80. And it's going to bring the market cap from 2.3 billion to $9,332,446,560. My 40K is going to be worth 160K. The higher the price gets, the more aggressive I am at taking profits because the higher likelihood it is to drop like a rock. Taking out 60K in profits, now I have 70K in profits total. I still have $100,000 left in the position. And again, if you notice, I'm taking profits before even levels. So I'm taking profits before a $5 billion market cap, before a $10 billion market cap, because I know a lot of smart traders are going to be taking profits there. So I want to do it a little bit before. So if it dips, maybe I can buy more if I feel so inclined. So now, third take profit, 100K in there, 2x. It's going to bring the market cap from 9.3 billion to $18,664,893,120. At that point, I have 200K in profits. I'm taking off 170K because we're getting pretty close to my aggressive estimate. So boom, 170K in profits over here. I have 30K left in the position. I just turned 5K into 270,000. Probably wondering what you're going to do with the rest of the 30K. At that point, I'm going to be dollar cost averaging out of the market. I'm doing a 50% take profit every time there's a 25% increase. And if ETH drops by a huge multiple, I'm just going to sell all of it because I am anticipating some bearish conditions within the next 3 years. Watch the macro video from last week where I talk about the 20-year cycle and how every 20 years we've been getting a reset pretty much since the 1950s. So definitely give that video a watch if you haven't. It's on the Know It Alls YouTube, and definitely subscribe there. So guys, with that, I'd like to conclude this video. If you got value, drop a like, drop a comment, share with a friend, subscribe, help me reach 3K. I'm this close. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I love every single one of you who tuned in. Move fast and build things. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and trade safe.